News. I'm Sherry Preston. Despite the U.S. bombardment of Iran is not backing down, once again threatening oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Houthi rebels hitting 2 Saudi oil tankers who are carrying oil through the Red Sea route. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
This could be a potential significant escalation or another move in all of this conflict in the region. The president says that the United States is going to inflict, quote, major military punishment on both Iran and the Houthis if this were to happen again, saying he will hold Iran responsible because the Houthis are a proxy surrogate group of Iran.
Initial claims for unemployment benefits took an unexpected plunge last week. Applications falling by about 22,000 to the lowest number in almost 50 years. Heavy rains and flooding threatening almost the entire state of North Carolina. Heavy flooding's already blown through parts of West Virginia, and the region could get more rain for the rest of the week. This is ABC News. Floodwaters racing through parts of West Virginia. Several people have been undercounted for this morning, and rescue teams are still searching for them. House Judiciary Committee Chair Republican Jim Jordan recommending criminal charges against former special counsel Jack Smith, who investigated President Trump's false claims about the 2020 election and his handling of the hundreds of classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago. The EU has hit Google with $1 billion fine for breaking antitrust rules over the way it's run both its search engine and the Google Play Store. What's it feel like when you deliver a baby, and are there any surprises?
I would say how slippery the baby was.
Yeah.
A lot of fluids on it. Wasn't expecting that with the rubber gloves.
Berlin Borough, Pennsylvania police officer Dominic Hodson, who helped deliver Taylor Dunn to give birth in the parking lot of a Wawa convenience store July 6th.
It was a little nerve-wracking. I don't have any children, never delivered a baby, so I didn't know what to expect.
Mom and cop and baby were all reunited this week. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
A truck crash creates a traffic headache near Joint Base Lewis McChord, and the cleanup involves a whole lot of corn. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. The off-ramp from southbound I-5 remains closed near JBLM. More on that next. 50 minutes Federal Way to Seattle, about 40 minutes Puyallup to Renton. It's under 40 minutes right now from Renton to Bellevue, and it's still a struggle from the north end. It's an hour-and-a-half drive from Everett to Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. It's a corny morning commute for drivers heading to JBLM. A semi-truck crashed into a ditch on the southbound I-5 exit to Thorn Lane, spilling corn across the roadway. Here's Trooper Cameron Watts.
The driver did admit that he fell asleep at the wheel, and that's why he ultimately lost control of the semi-truck.
The exit ramp remains blocked while crews clean up the mess. 3 women are recovering after a targeted overnight shooting in North Seattle that left one of them with multiple gunshot wounds. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports a gunman fired more than 20 shots at the truck they were sitting in.
Seattle police rushed to the scene after reports of multiple gunshots at Aurora and North 96th Street just after midnight. They say the 3 women had gone to UW Medical Center, one shot several times, the other 2 injured by shattered glass. It happened just hours after City Council member Deborah Juarez announced a proposed law to let police close violent streets there and plans to hire a prosecutor dedicated to Aurora violence.
To be cross-deputized to look at misdemeanors and felonies and sex trafficking.
Police say a single suspect fled south on Aurora. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
All 3 victims are expected to survive. No arrests so far. Newly released surveillance video shows the moment a passenger is shot on a King County Metro bus. This happened back on July 5th. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
King County prosecutors say 36-year-old Rashad Mackey argued with riders over a missing cell phone and threatened to, quote, smoke everyone on board, then got off the bus and fired back inside, hitting a man in the chest as the bus pulled away. Casey McNerney is with the King County Prosecutor's Office.
It could be a third strike offense if convicted as charged under the state's persistent offender law.
You can watch the video at mynorthwest.com. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
New details have been released in the investigation of a deputy-involved shooting in SeaTac. The Valley Independent Investigative Team says the King County Medical Examiner examined and identified the man, who is a 33-year-old Frank Hoy-Ho. The medical examiner ruled the manner of death as a suicide. Investigators are reviewing evidence to determine the facts surrounding Sunday's incident. Washington State Patrol is investigating a road rage shooting on Highway 2 in Everett. A driver fired twice at another vehicle during an altercation as both traveled eastbound on Highway 2 near the West Side Trestle. The suspect took off. The 38-year-old victim was not hurt. Troopers are asking anyone with information to come forward. A seal pup has prompted the closure of Tacoma's Old Town Dock on Ruston Way. Parks Tacoma closed the dock to protect the pup while wildlife officials determine whether its mother returns. People are asked to stay at least 100 yards away, keep dogs leashed, and avoid touching or feeding the animal. Now to your KIRO News Radio weather. It's much cooler today with improving air quality. Only a few showers this morning. It'll be dry this afternoon with highs near 80. More sun and warmer weather expected tomorrow. Right now, it's about 65 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Oh, that weather is back to where I like it, because these last couple of days was hot, hot, hot. Anyways, grateful that you're hanging out with us on the show. Good morning to you, Ursula.
Good morning. You like it. I am feeling like, oh my gosh, don't remind me of fall just yet. But we do need a bit of a break for sure. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Coming up at 9:47, we're going to do an Ask Ursula, but I need your advice too, because y'all know a lot. If you weren't invited to a wedding, but you got a wedding notice after the fact, one listener wrote in and said, am I obligated to give a gift? We'll have a few more extra details on that one, but what do you think? So text us again, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476.
Top stories of the day brought to you by Pendergast Law.
The number of Amazon workers relying on food stamps and Medicaid has nearly tripled in just the last 5 years. This is according to a new federal report, G, which also found that gig companies, including Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash, now collectively employ more food stamp recipients than Walmart. Across the states that were studied, 10.6 million working adults got food stamps, while 13.8 million were enrolled in Medicaid. Many were working full-time. Now, for its part, Amazon says those numbers are misleading when it comes to the company, because it says it employs so many people, including part-time workers, and says its full-time employees get competitive pay and benefits. But the question is, when workers at one of the world's richest companies still need a lot of public assistance for food and health care, who is really paying for part of that payroll?
Oh, boy, I'm going to try to make sure I stay on my game today. Yesterday, I got off of it. Yesterday, we had a whole conversation about living wage, and I even took it to Facebook about that conversation. And then today, we're talking about food. And I find it interesting because they both go hand in hand. You might be making $25 an hour, but man, you know what? You're having a hard time buying food. Now, again, I want to be fair to Amazon. Yes, part-time, gig workers, seasonal, no doubt. You got to account for all of that. But here's the thing that has me scratching my head. If you would have told me before I started my radio career that you could be connected and working with or for a company that's worth over $1 trillion. They're worth over $1 trillion. And you mean to tell me in the last 5-6 years, it has tripled people needing food assistance? Now, I know some of the people that I know personally will get on here and they'll say, oh, my goodness, but what about the fraud? What about the people about the fraud and trying to fake? Like, what about the lady that I saw at the grocery store that had the fur coat on, and she went out to the Mercedes-Benz, and she had her nails done, and she got steak and lobster. All of those tropes and narratives and everything, and Ursula, I just kind of, here we go again. We're talking about food. It's crazy. Like Amazon, food.
Well, you pointed out what the company is worth. Amazon made nearly $78 billion in profit last year on more than $716 billion in sales. I looked up CEO Andy Jassy's compensation. That was about $2.1 million, but the SEC calculates his compensation that's actually paid, if you look at stock value, at more than $13 million. And Amazon says its warehouse and transportation workers earn an average of just over $23 an hour, or about $48,000 a year for full-time work. So if you look at that, you can see where, I mean, obviously there's such a discrepancy there, and companies like Amazon could afford to pay some of their lowest paid workers a whole lot more, but they don't have to. And we still buy from Amazon. You know, I mean, if people were really upset about what this company does and the company's practices, and I'm just picking on Amazon, but I mean, every day it's another Amazon story. Amazon's growing here. Amazon's doing this. And yet, you know, here I am. I still buy from Amazon.
I don't like the whole thing about like, well, if you guys are upset enough, you can stop using Amazon. I mean, Amazon, let's be real, it is in our whole lives. So we could do this all day. I could say, well, what about your job? And what about the store you shop at? And like when Rosa Parks went to go and they did the bus boycott, I'm sure that there were stores that Rosa Parks shopped at. Like, hey, Rosa Parks, I can't believe you're shopping there. You know, they don't allow those things. So again, back to Amazon and what they're doing. This is absolutely crazy. However,
well, how do you change it?
How do I change it? I don't know. I don't know how to change it. I don't know how the same way I don't know how to change the conversations on living wage when people are talking about, well, you shouldn't make that much. I don't know how to change that conversation. I don't know how to change this conversation. I'm just a radio host. All I can do is just talk about it. All I can do is just highlight like we're doing right now, and just maybe people start connecting. Like, wait a minute. Maybe living wage and this whole food thing, maybe those things are connected, right? Like we talk about labor being one of the top things that happen in this country. And then, oh, by the way, you got the labor happening. But hey, you taxpayers, I need you guys to subsidize, right? These folks out here, who are we subsidizing? Mm-hmm. You're subsidizing people that are working for or connected with a $1 trillion company.
We're subsidizing the company, though. We're literally handing money to the company because we all recognize that someone who makes $23 an hour, $24 an hour, and they've got a kid, like that's not possible for them to make it. This is like tips. Mm-hmm. What we are doing with food stamps is giving tips to Amazon on every single purchase because it's our tax money that goes to provide the salaries to those employees who Amazon doesn't provide enough pay to. Mm-hmm. And what a ridiculously inefficient system that is.
Well, I mean, basically what you're saying is taxpayers are effectively covering costs that Amazon could afford to pay itself. And yeah, I mean, one of the few things that we have as a pushback would be, what companies do we support? Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's plan to give every public school student free breakfast and lunch this fall has likely been pushed back by at least a year. A city council committee has now voted 6-3 to push universal meals to the 2027-28 school year, arguing that the city at this point does not have a reliable way to pay for them long term. Council President Joy Hollingsworth wants to expand food support for lower income students on weekends and school breaks, while gradually bringing more schools into the universal meal program. She says it's really important.
Having that extra resource is something that was greatly needed, especially as we know while SNAP is being cut and food assistance dollars are being cut federally. Colleagues, a $50 grocery card for winter or spring break for a family can make an incredible impact. It's not intended to replace SNAP, But on a family grocery budget, it's intended to bridge the gap. During a 3-day weekend, midwinter break, spring break, or other periods when school cafeterias are closed, they can purchase milk, a dozen eggs, a loaf of bread, fresh fruit, a bag of rice. They can survive, be able to try to keep surviving and fill that gap.
Now, Gee, this schools meals fight is also exposing the tension between the mayor and the council. Joy Hollingsworth said that Wilson's team announced this plan without even consulting council members first. The mayor says now that it's been pushed back, she's disappointed about that. I mean, just a reminder, Seattle's facing a projected $175 million deficit next year. At the same time, the city expects to spend more than $80 million this year solely on police raises, including back pay for raises owed from the last 2 years, plus the higher salaries that officers are going to be getting this year. But that money apparently the city had budgeted for the police raises to cost $92 million, but it only ended up being $80 million. So there is $12 million, which could have been used for this program, but that's not long-term funding. So the question is, should Seattle or any other school district provide free meals to every student or focus just on the children who need it the most?
My kids were on free and reduced lunch at Stanislaus Elementary. Shout out to Stanislaus. Shout out to the Seattle School District. When I hear let's pause universal school meals, I don't care what your plan is. I'm out. What do you mean we're pausing? We're delaying. You're coming up with, no, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. You're basically saying, hey, kids on the weekends and during breaks, yes, they do need food, no doubt. And I like the plan. I just don't like anything that says pause for this upcoming school year. And what I mean by that, look, the Mayor, Katie Wilson, she came up with a very good plan. Until the millionaire's tax comes through, what we're going to do is we're going to earmark some money and we're going to make it universal for all the Seattle school district. That way, you know, the parents that are maybe that have their immigration status and that in question, they don't have to worry about filling out forms. Or the people like me who maybe some parents, maybe you're kind of slow, you procrastinate on forms. And maybe you're a parent that doesn't do a good job of filling out those forms. That way your child isn't in school hungry because you didn't fill out the correct forms. The politics that's happening right this, I don't like. I'm not trying to get into it. I don't think I know what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't care what anybody says. This pause is absolute trash. Now, yes, the possibility, Ursula, that they could repeal the millionaire's tax. That could happen, and if that happens, then in a couple years, it's in limbo on what would happen with the whole school lunches. But until that bridge is ready to be crossed, I don't want to even address that. Any type of pause on this right here, I'm out.
Well, I look at this as it's another rookie mistake by Mayor Wilson. You don't promise something like everyone gets a free lunch without first making sure that you have the money to do it.
Okay, go ahead.
I mean, that's it. I mean, there's clearly so much dysfunction going on at City Hall. The mayor and the council aren't even on the same page. They're not even talking to each other.
You blame Katie Wilson for this? For this right here?
The fact that she said this was going to happen and then
the day before the Seattle City Council comes in the day before to do this. So it blindsides the mayor on this. So the mayor had it all earmarked and prepared for universal. So that way
she had the money, where the money was going to come from?
Yes, they had the money and was already earmarked for Seattle was going to get universal school lunches. Boom, no questions asked. You show up to school, boom, you get lunches. At the last minute, Seattle City Council comes up with this. Again, I'm not saying that I'm against what they are talking about. No doubt. I just don't like the either or. So I don't like this pause. I'm never going to agree with this pause. They're basically saying they will pause for this school year and they will start it back up in 2027. I'm never getting behind that.
I totally understand your passion for it. I'm just wondering if they say they don't have the money for it.
I can explain that. So Mayor Wilson was planning on the first 2 years was going to be funded by taxpayers through the school levy that taxpayers voted for. Universal school meals was part of that. After that first 2 years, the cost of universal meals would be paid for through the millionaire's tax. Because that long-term funding is now in question, Joy Hollingsworth, the council president, came back and said, hey, there's a question about whether this is going to be here in the future, so why don't we just take this money that was earmarked for universal meals and make sure that kids get lunch and meals on the weekends and holidays instead.
I literally just said exactly just that right there.
Well, we just needed an explanation because I wasn't following it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this story because this one's a bizarre world. A Spokane doctor who plotted to have his estranged wife kidnapped and forcibly addicted to heroin now wants his medical license back so that he can care for babies again. Court records say Dr. Ronald Ilg, who was a former neonatal specialist, met another woman online and invited her into his marriage. And after his wife said, no, and filed for divorce, he offered a dark web hitman $60,000 in cryptocurrency to abduct her for 7 days. He also demanded that she drop the divorce, move home, have sex with him at least 3 times. He also wanted heroin and used needles bearing her DNA planted throughout their house, and threatened to have her father beaten, her dog slaughtered, and her older son addicted to heroin. I mean, are you following all that? He timed the kidnapping for when he would be vacationing in Mexico with his girlfriend. But during that trip, the girlfriend secretly contacted his wife saying, some strange stuff is happening and I need to talk to you as soon as possible. He also paid to have a female colleague's hands broken. So now this guy is still serving an 8-year federal prison sentence. But again, he was appealing and wanted to get his medical license back. But the judge who sentenced him called his behavior egregious, abhorrent, and evil, and the state appeals court has now upheld that permanent revocation of his license.
Yeah, I believe that second chances are one thing, but second chances in the same field are another. And what I mean by that is you want to rebuild your career, you want to do something, you can't do it in medicine, bro. You can't do that. There's no way in the world you're going to. What are these doctors they wearing? What do they call them? The white coats? No. You can't wear them white coats anymore. Not in this field. You're talking about very much a lot of trust in this type of profession, which you are asked to do. And in this case, there's no way. Look, you could be forgiven, but being forgiven and then having an opportunity to practice in this same world, especially medicine, that is a world you should not be in. No question about it. All right. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, we got Ask Ursula. That'll be happening at 9:47. And then coming up next, 2 former Democratic governors are making public declarations against current leaders on their own party. Do that next, Gee and Ursula.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Reutin from the Gee and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the Gee and Ursula YouTube channel.
The Boeing Classic welcomes the world's greatest golf legends to the Pacific Northwest, August 14th through the 16th at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge. Watch Masters champions and Golf Hall of Famers compete for a $2.3 million purse at the only PGA Tour champion stop in the region. Bring the whole family and make sure to check out the Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BoeingClassic.com to get yours today.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size, high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. A child recovering from surgery and the family struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Seattle Children's, Safeway, and Seahawk, Jackson Smith and Jigba launched the Food First Project to fight pediatric food insecurity by providing grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs for families. No barriers, just help. 12s, we need you. Learn more at Safeway.com. Again, that's Safeway.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event going on right now through Sunday, August 2nd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about artificial intelligence.
I cannot answer that.
Many professions are using it, and allegedly some are even being taken over by it. At 1-800-DUI-AWAY, we know police are leveraging AI, whether it's analyzing body cam footage, reading license plates, or even facial recognition. AI has become a helpful tool, enabling officers to work more efficiently. And efficiency for them means more people getting pulled over. You can't chat GPT your way out of a high BAC. Getting legal advice from AI is no substitute for an attorney. Use AI correctly, or it can result in trouble, like a self-driving car taking you home from a bar.
You have reached your destination.
So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. If you get pulled over for DUI, the only thing you need your smart device to do is call 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
George Thorogood and the Destroyers, the baddest show on earth, with the Robert Cray Band. August 6th, the Tulalip Amphitheater. Don't get tickets on sale now at Tulalip and Quill Cedar 1 Club Desks or Ticketmaster.
Hi, I'm Marla at Sky Nursery with a heads up that gardening in July has its challenges. Seattle summer drought can cause plants to droop in just a matter of hours, and rabbits and aphids can get a little out of hand in your garden, especially if you have any travel plans this summer. That's where an experienced Sky gardener can make a difference with down-to-earth and sustainable solutions to all manner of gardening quagmires. After all, you deserve to enjoy a beautiful, thriving summer garden without having to learn the hard way first. We can help. Head to skynursery.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought.
because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump, in a social media post, says the nuclear deal his administration announced with Saudi Arabia just yesterday is contingent on the country joining the Abraham Accords and normalizing relations with Israel. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
Saudi Arabia has been reticent to join this arrangement, in part because it is insistent that there be a Palestinian state. The president this morning made this statement, and his press secretary at the briefing said that it is the final word on this, that the president is ultimately the deal maker in this, and that the deal is contingent on this condition the president announced this morning as far as Trump is concerned, and that if they don't agree to it, Caroline Leavitt says the deal is off.
Seattle's favorite raccoon is apparently on his way to the White House. The official White House X account gave a shout out to Jimothy. In the photo, Jimothy is wearing a red hat that reads, "Trump was right about everything." Jimothy is getting an official City of Seattle proclamation on Sunday. Washington has mobilized state firefighting resources to battle the growing railroad fire in Grant County. The wildfire sparked just late last night near Beverly and Shawana. The fire has already burned an estimated 750 acres. It's threatening homes, crops, and Grant PUD facilities. Level 1 and Level 3 evacuations are now in effect. A Burien man is facing assault and harassment charges after deputies say he attacked his neighbor with a metal baseball bat. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Billy reports it was all caught on surveillance video.
A neighborhood yelling match in Burien takes a violent turn. A home security camera captures the suspect walking into the street toward the victim, Linda Irish. Then, in the blink of an eye, he hits her with a baseball bat.
He reared back like he was playing for the M's and just swung and caught me right below my scapula.
Prosecutors say the attacker is Andy Dimitrov.
You want me to go to jail?
Deputies say Dimitrov drove away with his father, then threw the bat out of the car window.
Dimitrov is currently undergoing a mental health evaluation. 7 dogs are safe after deputies rescued them from a hot van in Pierce County. The sheriff's office says the dogs, including 4 puppies, were left inside a van parked in direct sunlight on Tuesday as temperatures climbed to 97 degrees. Several Good Samaritans had already managed to remove 6 of the dogs from the vehicle.
Potatoes! Look at the potatoes! Oh my gosh, okay.
Animal Control removed the last dog from the van, and all 7 dogs were taken to the Humane Society for medical evaluations. Authorities are reminding pet owners never to leave pets in parked vehicles during hot weather, even for a short time. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. The off-ramp from southbound I-5 is still closed. That's due to the semi-truck that crashed into a ditch there on Thorn Lane, spilling corn across the roadway. Other drive times right now, 40 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. It's under 40 from Renton to Bellevue, and it's about an hour and a half still from Everett to Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO Newsradio App. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. For your forecast, we're much cooler today. Temperatures will be near 50. Right now, it's 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Text us, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476. Coming up at 9:47, we're going to do this week's Ask Ursula, which you can find on mynorthwest.com. And a listener wrote in and was asking about what are these social obligations when it comes to wedding gifts? If you weren't invited to the wedding, but you get a notice that a couple that you like got married recently, are you expected to send a gift? Text us 888-973-5476. But right now, let's talk about these two former Democratic governors who've been very vocal about all the spending that is going on in the legislature. We have talked about former Governor Christine Gregoire's comments that Washington doesn't have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. She pointed out that the state budget has grown from about $33 billion when she left office in 2013 to more than $80 billion today. And adjusting for inflation and population growth, that number would be more like $60 billion in Gregoire's day, but still. And then recently, Governor Gary Locke also came out with his own warnings, stating last week they don't have any budget discipline in Olympia. The spending has gotten out of control, and they're spending way beyond the revenues. Gary Locke talked to Danny Westneat at the Seattle Times and said that he and Gregoire came to a private understanding recently that both of them need to speak out. But now we're hearing from Seattle Democratic Senator Jamie Peterson, who says the former governors are just simply out of step with today's voters. Peterson said, this is a quote, "It's not a problem, it's democracy," pointing out that voters recently upheld billions of dollars in taxes for climate programs, long-term care, and education. So the question is, who is right? Have Washington Democrats lost all budget discipline? Or, as Jamie Peterson says, have Governor Locke and Christine Gregoire, are they living in the past and representing a Democratic Party that no longer exists?
I want to make sure that I'm totally respectful. Thank you to Christine Gregoire and Gary Locke for their time as governors of this state. Respectfully, thank you. The second thing that I wanted to bring up is when we're having this discussion about the budget challenges of today, but we're judging these things off of 30 years ago in the economy, what was happening then. You just can't do that. Especially, you have to take into account, and I'm glad that Danny Westneat brought up COVID-19 and the funds federally that were given to the state that kind of lifted businesses and people afloat. And then some of those programs still exist, so you still have to fund those things. So I just, when these conversations are being had, I just think this is where it's time to not have the G blanket statement on these. Like, this conversation is a little bit more complex, a little bit more nuanced, and you need to add that in. I thought about it starting off with an analogy. You guys know I say this all the time, but it really does remind me of the people that talk about how they worked their way through college and they bought a house and they were able to pay off their student loan debt and they were able to pay for child care all on one income. And I believe you, and that is awesome. But you can't do that today. And you can't just save not buying avocado toast or lattes. So again, respectfully to them, I do believe them in what they're saying. And one more thing. If there is a discussion about the Democrats also in their spending, I think that is a fair discussion. No doubt about it. Let me say that again. I think it is a fair discussion to question the spending of the Democrats. Yes, it is not fair to talk about when you left office, it was $30 billion budget to today is an 88 or 80-something billion dollar budget.
Yeah, I agree that you can't use the figures that worked for when you were governor, because obviously a lot of things, including inflation, including all the, was it more than 1 million people who've moved to the state since then. But I think the basic principles of budgeting still apply, which is you can't spend more than you have. You can't keep spending more than you have coming in. And if you do, you need to have a really good system for prioritizing. And since we've been doing the show and I think I have seen, and we have talked about example after example of where I do think that there is some out of control spending, which is why I have said that we are better served with a more balanced government where and people. A few people sent in text messages and said, be careful what you wish for. You know, this Republican Party is different. I would argue that the Democratic Party is different also. And I agree with Gary Locke. I have great respect for Gary Locke, like you said you do. I have great respect for Christine Gregoire. And they can't use the figures that they used, but I think the principles of budgeting do apply. And they know something. They know a lot more than I do when it comes to, I mean, they were governors. They did have to deal with this. So while I appreciate what Jamie Peterson says, that they're out of step with today's voters. Yeah, there are some people who will just agree to keep taxing themselves and keep saying yes. I used to be that person, but I have grown differently, and I am no longer that person because I do think that there are ways that they can do a much better job of budgeting, spending, and understanding that people feel like they are taxed out.
To both your points on, you know, the budget numbers of the past and the realities that faces Washington State now, as a younger voter, what I see is a state and that has much higher need than it did in 2004, right? In 2004, Governor Locke didn't spend a dime, I believe, on homelessness. The idea of affordable housing was something that never came up in either of their terms. And right now, we have two generations of people who can barely afford to feed themselves and their families in this state. And consequently, a lot of those people, including myself, believe that it is the government's responsibility to step up and try and do something when there's so many people falling far behind. Whether those programs are working or not, that is a completely open question.
Well,
but
I think
the
that's
societal
an important
need is much, much different today than it was in 2000, 2004, 2012.
Chris in T-Town just texted in and said, as a bleeding heart liberal, I totally agree with the former governors and pray that we Democrats change our spending. I think Gary Locke and Christine Gregoire speak to a certain part of the party, and, it's a big split. The Republicans aren't the only ones with a big split.
Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, it is time for Ask Ursula. It's an opportunity for you to weigh in on the question that a listener sent in. We'll do all that next. Gee and Ursula.
Subscribe to the Jake and Spike YouTube channel and watch live or later.
142 striking workers in Washington State have collected benefits for the unemployment that they're now entitled to, per law in Washington, worth $506,000.
I'm not crazy about it. I get it that it's great that you're standing up for workers, but there's no risk.
You're voluntarily saying, I'm going to step
I'm stepping away.
Yeah. And I'd like somebody else to pay it. That doesn't seem fair.
Jake and Spike, weekdays noon to 3 on KIRO Newsradio.
I've heard for so long about the great benefits of driving a hybrid, but now I'm actually experiencing it. I have my first one that I get to drive, a 2026 Subaru Forester Touring Hybrid from Carter Subaru. And from the moment I got into this vehicle, I thought, okay, this is what spoiled feels like. And why do I say that? It has the comfort, the technology, and the safety that I want, not just for myself, but for our family and for people on the road. It has an 11.5-inch multimedia screen with navigation. It has a hands-free power rear gate for all the chaos that you might face as a family, and Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive. But what all of that means to me is when I'm in that car, I truly feel safe. And I was reminded of how awesome the Carter Subaru team is when I picked up the car in the Shoreline dealership. It's why I keep going back. They treat you like family. I bought my Outback there in 2016. It still drives great, but I am just really enjoying being spoiled in this touring hybrid from Carter Subaru. And right now, Carter Subaru has the 2026 Subaru Outback available for 0.9% APR, which is a great time to get a car that you will love. Carter Subaru in Ballard and Shoreline, or cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 7/31/26.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Hey, Albert, can you help us plan and budget for a bathroom renovation?
I certainly can. Let me review your finances.
Who are you talking to?
Albert, my AI financial assistant that I can access right in the app. It automates all things finance, moves money, pays bills, creates personalized alerts, finds savings, and so much more.
Your bathroom renovation financial plan is ready. I found cash you can put aside, and to cover the rest, Albert can get you up to $10,000 fast.
Can you find contractors nearby within our budget?
Here's a list of contractors. Would you like help requesting a $10,000 loan for your bathroom renovation?
Yes!
Download the Albert app and use promo code MULTIPLY to access Genius. Plus, get up to $10,000 for whatever you need. Just download the Albert app right now and use promo code MULTIPLY to get up to $10,000. That's promo code MULTIPLY.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at LifePointLaw.com. That's LifePointLaw.com.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
KIRO Newsradio has your chance to win 2 tickets to see Aaron Lewis and the Stateliners live at Muckleshoot Casino Resort on Sunday, August 2nd. Go to mynorthwest.com/win for contest rules and your chance to win.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good day and appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. It's now time for Ask Ursula. Ursula, what you got?
Okay, so this listener sent in this question saying, Dear Ursula, I recently got a wedding announcement in the mail from the daughter of a family friend. While I'm thrilled for the couple and recognize that this is a major milestone, I'm torn about whether I should feel obligated to send them a wedding gift. To be clear, the announcement was that the wedding had already happened. We were not invited to the big day. And while I initially felt like I should send them a gift, my spouse weighed in that if we weren't invited to the wedding, well, there's no need to send one. My spouse believes that the quote-unquote social contract states that a gift is given in exchange for the meal, the drinks, the entertainment that have come along with an invitation to the wedding. I have met the newlyweds a handful of times. I'd like them both, so I would like to celebrate them, but I also understand my spouse's point of view as well. So what should I do? Feeling stingy in Seattle. This person actually gave himself that title. I didn't have to give it for him.
Sometimes decisions get made because maybe financially, maybe you're dealing with things. So somebody might say, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. And basically what they don't want to say is what they're dealing with financially. So I would say on something like this, I'm going to go ahead and give you some grace on this one.
Do you suggest that he gives a gift or not give a gift?
I would say if you're not financially going to be in trouble because of it, yes, give the gift. Yeah. That would be the best thing to do.
Do you think there's an expectation when someone gives an invitation that you have to do a gift, or do you have to, or do you also look at it as, if I don't go, do you have that idea in your mind like, well, I'm giving a gift, which is the value of what I would get if I were to go to the reception, have some drinks, have a nice meal, et cetera, et cetera?
One of the things I'm learning about weddings, and especially outsiders with no kids weighing in on weddings, it can be rough. And people do sometimes, Ursula, I think they do have an expectations. If you don't show up to the wedding, I sent you this. I made you a part of the select few to send an invitation to. I'm going to expect a gift. I guess it's subjective. Mm-hmm. It's subjective. Mm-hmm. But I think that the default thing to do is, if you don't go to the wedding, if you can somehow send a card, or a gift card or something like, or if maybe there's a registry. Maybe that'll help you. But yeah, you send a gift.
You know what I didn't appreciate growing up?
What's that?
Was the care that all of those extended adults truly had for me growing up. My mom's friends, extended family, friends, parents. And now I look back and when I see those people in my life now, and they have this big, genuine smile, and they want to know what's happening in my life. And I realize, what it has taken for all of those people to have invested interest in time in me. It blows me away. And we didn't request, on our wedding invitations, we said, no gifts. No gifts anticipated. Your presence is a gift enough, something like that. But when we did get presents, from friends of parents, mm-hmm. or parents of my friends, I was shocked at how much warmth of emotion it inspired in me, because it made me look back and think wow, I really was surrounded by a community of people who cared. So if you decide to send something, I think it will be appreciated. It's not a requirement at all, but I think we often underestimate what little gestures like that can do for other people, because we don't see what happens on the inside.
God, that was beautifully said. Now, what I told this person is, you're not stingy, and no, you're not obligated to send a wedding gift, but I think it's perfectly fine to send a card. And what I said is, the announcement was simply letting you know that they got married. You were being informed. It's not an invoice for you. And I also don't agree with the spouse's idea that a wedding gift is supposed to be exchanged for a meal. A wedding is not a restaurant bill that's split among the guests. And I think it's a gift, like you said, Chef. It is a gesture of affection. It's a way of saying that I care about you. I'm happy for you. I wish you well as you begin this life together. But the other thing is the amount you spend should be based on your relationship, what you can afford, what you think the couple would enjoy, not what you think they spent on you feeding you.
Yeah.
And I always tell this to my sons. When you give a gift, it's because you want to give that gift. It's not because you're expecting something in return. It shouldn't feel like a chore or a tally sheet.
Right. Yeah. This whole wedding stuff, and this is the part that I wanted to bring up, because, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there are people that like, oh, I can't go to the wedding, right? Oh, hey, just so you know, here's a gift and everything. And then sometimes a wedding party would actually know, like, hey, I don't think G is going to be able to go to the wedding, so I don't invite G. So even though G knows he can't go to the wedding, G gets upset because he didn't get the wedding invitation. Mm-hmm. There's so many layers to this wedding stuff. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Have you guys ever known of someone that literally could not go, but they were upset that they just didn't? Well, they want to be able to say no.
Yes. No, that is true. Okay, if you need some advice about a work, family, or dating dilemma, or maybe there's something you're struggling with and you just need an ear and some guidance, I'm here for you. Go to mynorthwest.com/Ask Ursula or send an email to me directly at askursula@bonneville.com.
Whether you love Jimothy or can't stand this whole story, coming up next, we're going to be having the director of Sarvey Wildlife Care Center up in Arlington. They're going to be a guest on our show. I'm also looking forward to asking them things like about bears and coyotes and all kinds of stuff. That happens next. Gee Ursula.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. As the U.S. and Iran war escalates, the Trump administration announced a new nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. President Trump, though, today says it's contingent on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
Saudi Arabia has been reticent to join this arrangement, in part because it is insistent that there be a Palestinian state. The president this morning made this statement, and his press secretary at the briefing said that it is the final word on this, that the president is ultimately the deal maker in this, and that the deal is contingent on this condition the president announced this morning as far as Trump is concerned, and that if they don't agree to it, Caroline Levitt says the deal is off.
The Southeast and Mid-Atlantic states under flood alerts. Nonstop rain in North Carolina and Virginia could stretch into the weekend. And neighborhoods in West Virginia flooded from severe storms earlier this week. Remnants of Bertha triggering flooding in Gulf Coast states. This is ABC News. We're getting a new look at the safety of those self-driving robo-taxis from Waymo.
A new study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety finds Waymos are involved in nearly 70% fewer crashes compared to human drivers. Researchers noted that Waymos are especially adept at avoiding rear-end crashes, reporting the cars did so at a 91% lower rate than human drivers. The IIHS examined the Google-owned company's operations in San Francisco, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Austin. Waymo says so far it's served more than 20 million autonomous rides. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A former modeling scout who was introducing young women to Jeffrey Epstein has been found dead in his home outside Paris. Daniel Siad was named more than 2,000 times in the Epstein files released by the Justice Department. Siad was reportedly under investigation in France for alleged trafficking and other sex crimes. A cause of death not yet determined. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Thousands of people have the same exact excuse for missing an email today. Microsoft is down. More on that. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. Cleanup on I-5 near JBLM is still going. Front loaders are scooping up the corn and putting it into containers now. Some drive times right now. Federal Way to Seattle finally seeing some relief. It's down to 30 minutes. Everett to Seattle, 35 minutes. Everett to Bellevue, 40 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by LeMay America's Car Museum. Super Summer Weekend is here at LeMay America's Car Museum, and it's mostly free Saturday. Cars and Coffee Show, americascarmuseum.org.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Katrina Gashard. A widespread Microsoft outage disrupting service for thousands of users this morning. The outage affects Outlook, Teams, Xbox, and other Microsoft 365 services. Microsoft says it's investigating the problem, but hasn't said what caused the outage or when all services will be fully restored. We'll keep you updated. Amazon has confirmed another round of layoffs, this time within its artificial general intelligence unit. The company did not say how many workers are affected, but tells CNBC it's narrowing its focus to key AI initiatives while continuing to invest in the technology. The move follows broader company-wide job cuts announced earlier this year. 3 women are recovering after a targeted overnight shooting in North Seattle that left one of them with multiple gunshot wounds. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports a gunman fired more than 20 shots at the truck they were sitting in.
Seattle police rushed to the scene after reports of multiple gunshots at Aurora and North 96th Street just after midnight. They say the 3 women had gone to UW Medical Center, one shot several times, the other 2 injured by shattered glass. It happened just hours after City Council member Deborah Juarez announced a proposed law to let police close violent streets there and plans to hire a prosecutor dedicated to Aurora violence.
To be cross-deputized to look at misdemeanors and felonies and sex trafficking.
Police say a single suspect fled south on Aurora. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
All 3 victims are expected to survive. No arrests so far. The Clark County Sheriff's Office is reviewing alleged misuse of body-worn camera mute functions in the death investigation of a motorist, Mark Fogel. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
54-year-old Mark Fogel was in the custody of the Clark County Sheriff's Office and in an interview room for a DUI investigation in May of last year. The deputy reported being in an active struggle with Fogel, who was allegedly trying to take his firearm. Attorneys for the Fogel family say deputies repeatedly muted their audio at critical moments after Fogel was fatally stabbed 17 times. Attorney Mark Lindquist represents the family.
Watching the video is almost comical. Every time something critical is about to be said, they hit the mute button.
Lindquist says he asked for the review in anticipation of a lawsuit. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says it's reviewing the issue and is committed to openness, transparency, and maintaining public trust. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Clark County health officials have confirmed a new measles case involving an unvaccinated child. The child recently traveled internationally and may have been exposed to others before the diagnosis. The Department of Health is working to identify anyone who may have been exposed and is urging people to check their vaccination status. Now to your KIRO News Radio forecast. It's much cooler today. Only a few showers this morning. It'll be dry this afternoon with highs near 80. More sun and warmer weather on the way tomorrow. Right now, it's 66 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Appreciate you all hanging out with us today. I hope you're staying cool today as it has cooled off, and I hope you stayed cool yesterday. Good morning to you, Ursula.
Good morning. Just a reminder, Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. So many of you texted in with your advice for Stingy in Seattle. I really, really appreciate that. If you missed it, you can check out the segment. It's posted right now on mynorthwest.com. Ask Ursula, but let's get to it.
Jimothy, oh Jimothy, the finest boy I'll ever see, please.
Whether you love the little guy or you can't stand hearing another story about the most famous raccoon since Ranger Rick, Jimothy has touched the hearts of millions and is now an international sensation. Yes, he is a global sensation. And one of the questions I have is, why has this particular little creature stirred up so emotion and even has people putting Jimothy tattoos on themselves, and now he has a doctorate? Is there a chance that we are loving this little creature to death? Joining us right now is Suzanne West. She is the director of the Sarvey Wildlife Center. And first of all, Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, well, thank you for discussing this topic. I think it's an important one.
Okay, you have been getting requests from people as far away as Australia who are interested in attaching Jimothy to their artwork or merchandise. Why has Jimothy captured everyone's attention?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's wonderful that people, appreciate the wildlife in our backyards. And obviously this raccoon has some sort of a condition that hasn't been completely identified because no one's examined him, right? So he hasn't been seen by a rehabilitator or a veterinarian to determine exactly what is wrong. But whatever it is, people are seeing an animal that appears to be adapting to what has, life has given him. And that's always encouraging and inspiring whenever someone can, rise, a person or an animal can rise above the circumstances that they're dealing with. We see this all the time with, deer that have been hit by a car and are now basically a tripod deer, and they manage to have babies and they're out there in the wild. And so people appreciate that. And I think, it was also a very unusual video, the first one that was shared. And I think people were trying to figure out what that was. And so that probably also, sparked our, imagination. What are we looking at? Is this a raccoon? Is this a cat? People didn't seem to know at first, right? And we are in the Pacific Northwest, and we have our myth of Bigfoot too, right? So, it was like, what is this thing that's out there? Yeah.
Suzanne, obviously, you've been hearing a lot of the talk, and you've been getting messages about a lot of the talk. Help us understand, what are some of the things that you're seeing and hearing being said that kind of makes you cringe a little bit?
Well, I think the most alarming thing is that, every single day we deal with animals that have been impacted by some kind of human-caused conflict, right? Hit by a car, window strike, dog and cat attacks. Those are all human-caused problems that's what we're here to help these animals with. And so with this, it's the dilemma is, are we creating a situation where this animal has become a celebrity? It's not just raccoons in general. We're talking about a specific raccoon that has been, given a name, and we run the risk of him being treated like any of our celebrities, right? He didn't sign up for this. He didn't say, oh, I'm in this movie and whatever. And, the paparazzi could chase him down. So we really are concerned that people will want to do what sometimes people do, unfortunately, and get a selfie with him or capture more video that then they can also share. And so that's alarming. But then there's this other aspect of creating merchandise around his image that isn't being used in any way that's philanthropic, right? So people are actually benefiting from that. I'm not trying to throw shade on anything that has been done with his image that has generated some wonderful things. I know the artist Henry did some great things with raising funds for the food bank, I believe in Ballard Food Bank. So, those are wonderful things. And I guess what we'd like to see is people do good, right? See this image of him and just know that he's out there doing his thing and give him space. It's really important that we give our animals space to be wild. So.
This is Suzanne West, director of the Sarvey Wildlife Center. We're going to ask you some other wildlife-related questions, but I want to just focus on Jimothy because he has all of our focus right now. What should people make sure they don't do? Because I heard of people trying to hunt him down, trying to, like you said, get the selfies. What and why should they not be doing these things?
Well, when we go out into a wild animals environment, right? And these are very urbanized animals. These guys are living in a very urban setting. But when we're seeking them out, we're going to disrupt their natural behaviors, right? So this animal might be scared, or another raccoon, and oh my gosh, there's somebody chasing after him. He could run into the path of a car that he might not normally run into the path of because he's not stressed out and trying to evade people. The other thing that could happen is people try to lure him with food, right? So if you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to put out a feeding station and he's going to come and eat this, whatever it is that you've put out, you're disrupting his ability to hunt, and you could even cause that animal to become sick because he's eating the wrong things, right? Or he gains a lot of weight, which actually could make his condition worse because we don't know what, exactly is going on with him. So those are really important things for people to be aware of. Don't feed wildlife, keep your distance, enjoy them from a distance. If you see something, great, enjoy it, but don't try to interact with it.
I'm not going to pretend like I know, so I'm just want to ask this. What is it that you guys do on a daily basis over there? Explain that.
Well, so wildlife rehabilitation is a profession. We have the fortune of having a lot of different facilities in Washington state. Ours is a large scale facility. We take in over 3,500 animals a year. About 135 species on average is what we see. So we do everything from hummingbirds, coyotes, raccoons, everything in between. And so when animals are found orphaned, truly orphaned, right? Something's happened, you know, the duck got hit by a car and now all her ducklings are running around. Those are the animals that are brought to us that we raise and then we return them to the wild. Oh, wow. So we're not a sanctuary. We're not a zoo. We're not here for people to tour. We're trying to keep our distance so that these animals truly are kept wild. So we get in animals that are orphaned, and we also get in animals that are sick or injured. So the bird that hit your window now has head trauma, and it's going to come in, and we're going to try to, you know, treat that animal in a way that we can get it back out into the wild. Not everything does survive, because as you can imagine, by the time someone can catch a wild animal, it's usually in pretty bad shape.
Yes.
Hey, so first of all, thank you for explaining that. And so let's just say you have the duck that you use for an example, yep, and you have this animal that you guys are going to decide to put back out there. How do you guys decide on, okay, this animal is ready to get back out there? Or do you know, like, okay, I think if we put this animal out there, there's a 50% or 60% chance that they'll survive?
Well, for animals that we're raising, you know, we're getting them used to their natural diets. We might have to get them to practice hunting skills if, let's say, they're a raptor and things like that. We're looking for natural behaviors, you know, that they're not approaching people, that they are, you know, able to eat the diets that they should be eating, that they're interacting with their own kind appropriately. It's, you know, there's a reason that it's a licensed profession. So the state and the federal government provide our staff with the permits to do this. We go to ongoing conferences, learn all about this. So there's exams involved. It's kind of like being a vet tech, but it's for wildlife rehabilitation. So this is, you know, we have everything here that a vet hospital would have, from, you know, diagnostic tests like radiographs to being able to send out lab work, so that we're making sure that animals are getting what they need, not just nutrition, but medically.
Well, to the end of, you were talking about people doing good with their affection for Jimothy. What is something good that people can do right now?
Well, you know, I think donating to Wildlife Center or anything that sparks, you know, your particular heart, right? You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing good work. And, you know, there's true. A lot of great nonprofits out there. And, you know, if you love animals and you love wildlife, then great. Support your local wildlife center. You know, we all survive on donations. This is an industry that is not funded by the government. I think a lot of people think it is. It's not. It is strictly, you know, donations. We're fortunate to have a lot of supporters. We've been here for 45 years, but there's a lot of other rehab centers, not just here in Washington, but all around the country, all around the world, really. So, you know, people can donate to the local animal causes that they support and believe in.
This is Suzanne West, director of the Sarvey Wildlife Center. Can I ask you a question about coyotes? Because we have coyote stories all the time on our show. And I've had the coyote encounter. For once and for all, if someone encounters a coyote, let's say you're walking your dog, what is the best thing to do?
To try to be loud and scare off the coyote if you're feeling threatened, right? You know, because a lot of times people are thinking, oh, their dog, you know, is in jeopardy. That can happen, but you know, it's kind of, you just need to be scarier than, he's a predator. You know, he needs to see you as a bigger predator. So you know, waving your arms. You know, maybe hitting an app on your phone where all of a sudden loud music plays, you know, something like that. That's an alarming thing. And the coyote will go off in the other direction. They really are not interested in messing with people. You know, yes, he might be so hungry that he's wanting to go after your dog, but they're not going to attack you on a trail. This isn't like coming across a cougar or something that maybe that is, you know, not behaving appropriately.
You know what I was thinking? Because the closest I get to wildlife is on Instagram. You know what I mean? And so what I mean by that is because there's viral videos, right? Yeah, people getting close to them and everything like that. And I I think you guys need to respond to these viral videos like, hey, this person right here is way too close. I want to ask, does some of these viral videos, does it help or hurt what you guys do? Because I bet you a lot of misconceptions really happen behind these viral videos, and you're probably looking like you're not supposed to be that close to that animal.
Right. Well, I think you'll see there's a reason none of us are sharing those on our socials, right? We're not resharing that type of content. And that's why the majority of those types of things are alarming from the standpoint that, there can be an uptick in people wanting to anthropomorphize these animals and to embrace them in a way where they're thinking, oh, well, I could have a pet raccoon or I could have this. I mean, we've been here 45 years and we've seen some pretty sad situations where people do things that really shouldn't have happened to wild animals. And, that's the problem, right? That sometimes you see things and you're like, no, it's not appropriate for that guy to be, hugging on that squirrel in his house. The wild animals need to be kept wild.
Suzanne,
we should appreciate them that way.
Give us one story. One, like in all of your years of doing this, you could not believe that this family or this person had this as a family pet.
Oh, boy. I've got several, but I'll go to your coyote point. There was somebody that took a coyote pup from the wild, decided to raise it, keep it in their home. This was several years ago. The coyote was given a name. And eventually the people surrendered this adult coyote to us because it attacked and killed their family cat or rabbit. Now I'm not sure. They had multiple animals in their home. And it just did what a coyote did. And that was really tragic because that never should have happened. That's a selfish behavior on the part of the human, right? You're taking an animal that has no business being in your home. And then, it could have hurt their children. It could have hurt other, visitors to their home, but it ended up killing another beloved pet that they had.
Wow.
And so yeah, we see and hear things like that all the time as wildlife rehabilitators. Those aren't always stories we share because, that's heartbreaking, and those are the types of things that, take a little piece of our soul when we go home at night. Because we know that we could have saved the coyote pup and it would have been out there doing what wild coyotes do.
Okay, we started the segment with Jimothy. We're going to end it with Jimothy. If Jimothy's sudden fame could leave Seattle with one lasting lesson about its wild neighbors, what would you want that lesson to be?
To appreciate our wild neighbors and to do things to support them. Don't feed them. Plant native plants. Do other things to support our wildlife populations because we have done so much development in all of the Puget Sound area, and I'm sure other parts of the country are the same way. We need to give back to those animals so that they can thrive as they're passing through our yards. So,
since we're talking about Jimothy, if you had to put out a blanket statement to everybody, what would you want to happen to Jimothy going forward? Would you want Jimothy to stay out there? Or would you want Jimothy? No, I'm being serious. Or would you want Jimothy to land where you are up in Arlington? What would you want?
No, 100% he needs to stay where he is. And the problem that people don't understand is that is not a raccoon that would have been returned to the wild. If that raccoon came in as a very small baby with that level of deformity, he legally couldn't be released. We would actually lose our permits to do the work we do if that animal's returned to the wild. He can adapt and he's doing great and we appreciate that. But when wildlife are brought to us, we have to make sure that the ones that we're sending out there are 100% ready to go. They can hunt and run and jump and climb and fly and forage and breed. And those are really important factors into why, this is something that our position and every wildlife rehabilitator's position should be, that this is not an animal that we would bring in and keep. We're not a sanctuary. We can't return this. There's nothing we can do to help him, right? We can't return this animal to the wild. He's already in the wild. He's doing his thing. Let's leave him be. And don't disrupt his day-to-day. Let him live out his days in peace as a wild raccoon.
Well, thank you for that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be a downer, but that is the reality. Like sometimes I think, people don't recognize the fact that we can't return a 3-legged deer to the wild either, right? So there's a reason we leave them alone.
Well, Jimothy certainly having his day in the limelight, his days in the limelight, and I hope people listening to you right now know that his sudden fame can also be used for good. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us on. Thanks.
I'll tell you what, it took Jimothy for us to have someone on wildlife. If I'm not mistaken, in 6.5 years, this is the first time we've had. And I actually,
you're right. I learned a lot.
I sat there and learned a lot. I messed up, though. I forgot to ask about, you asked about coyotes. I didn't get a chance to ask about bears, but I'm going to take her word on what to do on the coyote situation. Make yourself big, pull out your phone, play some music. Yeah, no doubt. Hey, coming up at 10:47, you know what we'll do. We'll do scenarios. But up next, what are your thoughts on if TSA becomes private at different airports around the country? Oh, we'll talk about that next. Gee and Ursula.
Back on February 8th, the countdown started at 167 days.
3, 2, 1.
Right after the clock showed zeros.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The champs are back on the field in just 2 days when Seahawks training camp begins.
We know that we're target number 1 now.
The home of the Super Bowl champs, KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patients' families cannot afford the food their kids need to heal. Think about that. A child recovering from surgery, learning to walk again, and the family is struggling to put good, nutritious food on the table. This is why Safeway and Seahawks Jackson Smith and Jigba are launching the Food First Project, a multi-year initiative to fight pediatric food insecurity right here in our community. This is grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs going directly to families the moment the need is identified. No barriers, no red tape, just help right now. They're funding vitamin D screenings, nutrition support for student athletes, rehabilitation feeding tools, and meals for hundreds of families staying inpatient at the hospital. I love what Safeway is doing and Seattle Children's as well. Love it. Making a real difference where it matters. JSN, he's showing up for this. Now it's our turn. 12s. Put food first. Learn more at Safeway.com.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and Elder Law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at LifePointLaw.com. That's LifePointLaw.com.
John Curley here. When the AC starts acting up, don't assume you need a whole new system. Home Comfort Alliance, their approach is simple. Repair first, replace only if needed. Their techs diagnose the real problem because a simple fix can often get the cooling back up again and not cost you a full replacement. Need something new? Ask about a heat pump for year-round comfort. That's what we did at the barn. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at homecomfortalliance.com. Call the comfort people. homecomfortalliance.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when aging is part of everyday life. John Curley here. Longevity Medical Clinic was created to help people with overall wellness and longevity, including diabetes management, heart health, weight management, inflammation reduction, nutrition, cognitive health, hormone therapy, and more. I can tell you from personal experience, being a patient for 17 years, I have a richer, fuller life, and I'm better able to pursue my own happiness. As America celebrates 250 years of independence, give yourself the chance to reclaim yours. Independence from aging. Take control of your health before small issues become big problems. Experience a smarter, proactive approach to aging, backed by decades of experience with longevity. Do what I did and feel like yourself again. Get your free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic. Find out how at lmclinic.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Jazz Alley invites you to an evening with two-time Grammy-winning saxophonist Kirk Whalum. Soulful, passionate, and stirring. Shows run July 23rd through the 26th. Tickets at jazzalley.com. Next up, Greg Adams and East Bay Soul.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Today, the Trump administration says it will expand a voluntary pledge that urges AI companies to foot the utility costs for any new data centers being constructed. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The pledge today is being expanded to acknowledge all elements involved in building and operating data center, the governors who appoint the state regulators who set the power prices, the utilities and the co-ops that sell the power, and in addition to the tech companies that have already signed the pledge.
Amazon has confirmed another round of layoffs, this time within its AI General Intelligence unit. The company did not say how many workers are affected, but it does say it's narrowing its focus to key AI initiatives while continuing to invest in the technology. Washington State Patrol says drowsy driving is to blame for a semi-truck crash that shut down the southbound I-5 exit to Thorn Lane near JBLM. The truck left the roadway and spilled its load of corn across the exit ramp. Trooper Cameron Watts.
It could be a while. No ETA on reopening at the moment, but we're hoping everything's on our side and we can get it cleared faster than what we think we can.
Drivers heading to the base are being rerouted while crews remove the truck and clear the roadway. A Burien man is facing assault and harassment charges after deputies say he attacked his neighbor with a metal baseball bat, and it was all caught on surveillance video.
The pain was searing.
Linda Irish tells KIRO 7 TV she was loading her car her family into the car when the suspect allegedly pulled a bat from under his jacket and struck her.
He reared back like he was playing for the M's and just swung and caught me right below my scapula.
The suspect is currently undergoing a mental health evaluation. It was a painful night at T-Mobile Park for one Mariners fan who came within inches of catching a Julio Rodriguez home run, only to have the baseball hit her square in the face. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has her story.
It started with a Julio Rodriguez home run in the bottom of the 8th Tuesday night.
And it is gone. Goodbye, baseball.
And longtime fan Nikki Jones locked in.
Awesome. I can't believe I'm about to catch this ball.
But it went right through her hands and smacked her left eye.
It's completely swollen and black.
She left the game in a stretcher, and the next day Julio sent her a baseball signed, "I'm sorry, get well soon," and then he sent her a message on Instagram, too.
I just responded back, I'm like, there's no need to apologize. You hit a home run.
No broken bones, no concussion, just a great sense of humor and a great story.
I got hit by a ball at a baseball game, and I got a black eye from it.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
For your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic, the cleanup on I-5 near JBLM is still going on. Some drive times right now. Everett to Bellevue, 40 minutes. Everett to Seattle, about 35. Federal Way to Seattle, finally seeing some relief. It's now down to 25 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO News Radio App. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio App. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. For your forecast, much cooler weather today. Highs will be close to 80. Right now, it's about 66 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. We sure appreciate you hanging out with us. We have decided to talk about the TSA and the idea of privatizing the agency and would love to hear more of your opinion on that. We're going to do that story coming up at 11 o'clock, but Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line is open for you. Weigh in. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Right now, we're going to talk about a different kind of gambling and a debate that's going on right now. Have you seen those apps, G, where they call them Slotomania or Bingo Blitz, and basically they've taken what you can play in a casino and you now have it on your phone, but they say you're not going to win any actual money. It's all points, or so you don't get any money, but there are all sorts of features in these apps where you can actually end up spending quite a bit of money. And people, in fact, in this state have spent more than $225 million on these apps where, yeah, you can lose money, but you can't win any. And so State Attorney General Nick Brown is asking a judge to shut down 16 different social gambling apps and return that money to players. These include Slotomania, which I seem to see a lot of spots on social media, House of Fun, Caesars Casino Slots. The games are free to download. They provide some free currency. They'll say, oh, you can start off with 1 million points. But then you end up losing a lot of the points, and then you spend real money to add coins or chips or credits. Assistant AG Allison Cordova tells KOMO 4 News why they're taking on this case.
Part of our investigation, we discovered that there were numerous Washingtonians who had reported that they were suffering addiction, depression, anxiety, stress. They were suffering debt, lost their retirement, lost their savings.
But Becky Harris, who is a former chair of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, insists these games are not gambling.
So they're not a gambling game. There's no wager. It's simply a point of sale purchase for items to enhance my gameplay. And the big concern here is that gambling regulation would be inappropriately and incorrectly applied to these games.
But Washington law, G, says that continued gameplay can itself be a thing of value. The state argues when players pay for the right to place another bet, it is gambling, whether you can get any cash out or not. And again, about 150,000 people in the state of Washington use these apps every month.
Are you spending real money to keep playing? And the answer is yes. That's first. The whole idea for apps, and by the way, let me raise my hand. Am I addicted to apps? Yes. I'm addicted to Instagram. I'm addicted to X because of the news. All kinds of. So I'm not just going to say that I'm not addicted to some of these apps, but the idea of apps is to keep you there, whether it's TikTok or whatever the case might be. Now we're talking about something, and we always wind up talking about gambling, and we need to talk about it being a public health crisis.
It is.
This is crazy. So the whole personal responsibility, whether you feel, and the other day I brought up crack, and I brought up the opioid epidemic. I brought those things up. You want to know the difference in the drug crisis that we had then? During that time, one of the commercials that helped me out was Nancy Reagan about this is your brain on drugs. That actually worked for me. Like something about seeing that egg in the skillet, it did something to me. And also the death of Lynn Bias, that did something to me too. I stayed away. But just think about how many people then were positively saying to people, hey, drugs aren't good. Just say no. That was a message. Today, it is the opposite. We have the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, all commercial break, QR code, scan this, get free money, DraftKings.
Like everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's so pervasive.
There's no public, like I want people to, I hope, and the key, the NFL is so big. It's the biggest thing. It's not bigger than World Cup, but in the United States, it's the biggest thing. I would love for the NFL to say, full stop right now on the gambling. And even then, it'll still be too late.
It'll still happen.
It'll still happen, but at least there's a pull away the same way with hey, just say no.
Yeah. Instead of encouraging, I mean, the major leagues and just the sports world itself, that's just a humongous part of their income is the gambling. So it's
cigarette
like,
companies spend a lot too on advertising.
Right.
I mean, this is one of those things where, look, I don't have a gambling problem. I don't. However, we all are seeing story after story after story. We're having conversations with loved ones that are talking about just this right now. Do you have a friend who's gambling more today than they did yesterday? Because I do.
Mm-hmm.
Sports gambling is a way of life that is happening, and you're just like, this is going to get bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's just it. If it is something that you cannot control or you're living way beyond your means, for some people, it's you start and you just can't stop, and it keeps getting worse and it gets worse and worse. Ryan in the 360 said, man, the state is so enabling. What happened to self-accountability? Seriously, it is your responsibility not to overeat, not to overdrink, not to gamble, not to go on social media and let people hurt your feelings. Take some personal responsibility. And to Ryan and others who think this way, agree on so many fronts. But, I mean, is it your responsibility to wear your seatbelt? The government did intervene in that and made it a requirement. And the reality is, for some people, I mean, I've tried one of these apps and I was like, oh my God, this is so terrible. You get stuck in it. You can't get rid of it. You can't get out of it. And I was like, no. But it's capitalizing on people who cannot stop their addiction with slot machines.
For me, it's also about what new harms do we want to allow in society. You can talk about, like, smoking's been around forever. Drinking has been around forever. We created a brand new category with sports gambling in these types of apps. So we decided to say yes to this as opposed to having this baked in. And for all of you people who say, well, you spend money on other apps and other games, like these slot machine apps, every casino owner knows, every behaviorist in the world knows that they're specifically designed for addiction. That is their purpose.
Yes. And, you know, I hear you. There are people like Liz in Gig Harbor or others who are saying, you know what, government is already over involved in our lives. But sometimes there is a necessary intervention when people are capitalizing, or companies are capitalizing, or entire industries are capitalizing on folks who cannot have that personal responsibility because of addiction and other things that go into it.
Yeah. Every single day, whether it's gambling or any other topic, it's interesting to me how many topics that we discuss, or maybe that you have seen and heard and talked about, that we really, as long as we aren't affected by it, then sometimes it's amazing how, well, personal responsibility, don't get addicted, do better, do those things. If we continue with this type thinking of just because you aren't affected, if we continue with that, our problems in a lot of different areas, we are going to really struggle. And in order for things to get better for all of us collectively, we have to do better to think about others. Coming up next here on the Gee Ursula Show, Scenarios.
KIRO News Radio, where you hear Jake and Spike. Weekdays noon to 3.
Well, this weekend, Jimothy ran in the salmon run, and and I wish Mariner Marketing had taken just a couple more minutes or hours for what? Give us a better Jimothy.
The Jimothy costume is not perfect.
It was lacking.
What would you have them do?
I have them build a real costume.
Yeah, it didn't look great.
It didn't look great. It was a guy in a mask.
Watch live or later. Subscribe to the Jake and Spike YouTube channel.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. Get a free oil filter and more during the Celebrate Free event at AutoZone, now through July 27th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
And Doug.
Hot dog, get your hot dog.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Right now is a good time to try to save money, and one of the easiest ways to save, taking the First Mark Challenge. Mike and I took the First Mark Challenge a couple years ago, and we have saved thousands of dollars since then on our insurance. Here's how First Mark Insurance works for you. They compare rates and coverage from dozens of the top-rated carriers. Then they go to work to find you the right coverage at the lowest possible price for you and your family. And when you need them and pick up the phone, you'll talk to a real person who knows you and is there to help. That's the kind of world-class service that has kept us with First Mark Insurance year after year. So take the First Mark Challenge today. It costs you nothing. There's no obligation. And you'll find out just how much money you could be saving every single month. You could be the next First Mark Challenge victory. They've had over 11,000 of them, and I'm one of them. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. What are you waiting for? No cost, no obligation. They simply show you whether they can find you lower premiums, better coverage, or both. Your savings start tomorrow. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
When you see this in your kitchen,
the stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving.
you've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Let's get to it. Scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
My partner and I finally have enough money and time to take a vacation. I'm thinking it will be just the two of us, but then they tell me that they already invited some friends, and now it's turning into a group trip. I tell them I was really looking forward to us spending quality time together, and they said, we'll still be together. What's the big deal? Now I'm upset because I wanted this to be our vacation, not everybody's vacation. So my question is this: am I wrong for being upset? And also, should I just go with the flow? Because I really don't want to go on this trip, but I also don't want to make things even worse since he already invited some friends. 888-973-5476. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Ursula, up to bat first.
I wish I knew more information about the couple. Like, are they long-term, or because it sounds like they have terrible communication skills. How do you not know that your partner has invited other friends? And if you're the partner who invited the friends, how on earth would you not have that conversation with your partner before you invite such friends, said friends, I should say, because you're not on the same page, even when it comes to vacations. And I just have to ask, like, are they newly dating? Did she have different expectations? Is he just taking advantage of her or taking her for granted and not really caring what she wants?
Sounds pretty young, right? Because she said we finally saved up for our first vacation.
Well, that could be anybody these days, honestly. Yeah, so I don't even take I know people who would love to go on vacation right now, but are not able to scroll that, money right now. Yeah, so I think they have a communication problem. If I were her, I would have that conversation. If there's a way to uncouple it and still make it a single thing, if he's even amenable to that, then do that. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. So you have to decide, if you're going to go, are you going to try to make the best of it, or, be sulky pants and then it's bad for everybody?
Well, like you said, don't know how long this relationship has been. We don't know.
Yes.
But is there a possible way? Look, my man messed up. He messed up. He invited friends.
Yes.
He probably shouldn't have did that. You were looking to for a vacation that was just going to be you two. Is there a possible way that you can, A, have a conversation? Hey, I was looking forward to us. I can't believe you did that. Can you please not do that again? I wanted to do that. And then B, all right, you've already invited the friends.
Yes.
Let's go on this vacation, but let's carve out some time where you and I can have spending some time. So we're going to be gone X amount of days. On this particular day or this afternoon, you and we go to dinner ourselves. That way,
I mean, this could turn out to be the best vacation ever because these friends could be really fun. It could turn out.
They could be. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to make him or have him like, hey, friends, hey, I messed up. You guys can't. We don't want you guys to go.
Uninvite the friends. Just uninvite the friends. Seriously. Like, I know exactly how this comes up. You know, you have one partner who's extremely social. And they're like, oh, awesome, we're going to the Bahamas, like, in July. Bro, you want to come? We're going to the Bahamas. And Buddy's like, yeah, let's do it. I guarantee you the friends haven't bought the plane tickets. It's not that hard to go back to your friends and be like, dude, I'm sorry. I messed up. This is the first vacation I've been able to take with my wife, and stupid me did not realize it would be upsetting to her if I invited a bunch of buddies along. Just uninvite them.
Yeah.
Well, that would happen, and that, I think that's a great point. That would happen, but it doesn't sound like in this case he's willing to do that.
Right.
He's already said, yeah, no.
That would be. By the way, he already messed up.
Yes.
He asked about the friends going. The friends probably had to. Hey, let me text my significant other and ask them.
Yeah.
And so he got all the commitments.
Yes.
And then boom, and then you went to your significant other, and it.
Yeah.
But hey, some people might just say, hey, just uninvite them. That would be a rough thing to do.
But you learn your lesson.
Yeah.
And you'll also find out real quick how much he values you.
Yeah. And let this be a lesson to everybody. When you're getting ready to do a trip or dinner and stuff like that, you might want to talk this over with your significant other first.
Yes.
Then make a plan.
Yes.
And by the way,
this is kind of basic.
I'm guilty. I've done the other way before. Invited people over before, saying something. Hey, we're human. We mess up. We make mistakes. You ever had a get together plan before you said something?
Oh yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like,
yeah, not a vacation, but yes, get together.
Not a
yes.
vacation. Not a vacation.
That would be
not
a whole nother level.
Not a vacation.
Sometimes you jump the gun, man.
Oh, Nick, what is that, man?
Well, if it wasn't disclosed in the first place that it wouldn't be strictly a trip between the two of them, sure, the door's open for more people to come. But from what I'm hearing about these plans, it seemed the intention was to have it be a couple's vacation. Sure, there might be moments where they can have, where they can spend time between just the two of them. But you got to stick with the tickets for the two just before assuming it's going to be a group party. Make it up later with another trip or dinner when it's just the two of you as a couple, but hopefully this isn't a strike that takes you out of the game later.
Right. Nick, man, I just got to say, man, have I missed these. My bad, bro.
Oh, you're good? We're all good.
I know, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute, Nick.
It's been a little while, yeah.
They always got you training the folks, man.
Yeah, I know.
I guess because you do a
He's
good
the
job.
best at it.
Yeah. Good to have you back on this.
Good to be
Nick.
back, man.
Hey, coming up next, this is a heavy topic. Unpaid caregiving and what it is doing to some Americans and their retirement security. Next, Gee and Ursula.
All right, I'm so excited to be talking with Phil Mitchell. He's a new advertiser to the show. He owns Sunset Auto Family. Phil, welcome.
Thanks, Jake.
You guys offer something that I think is so valuable. We have so many listeners in our audience who are business owners and a lot of people who are driving commercial vehicles. You guys are basically like a perfect silent partner because you offer repairs for life on these commercial vehicles. Tell me about that.
Well, basically, repairs for life means any vehicle that we repair for over $250, we're going to cover that repair for as long as you own the vehicle. So if you got a commercial fleet and you put a transmission in your 250,000-mile truck, we're going to cover that for life.
And you think about the value added there for a small business owner who is trying to stretch every single mile out of these vehicles.
You don't even have to buy the vehicle from us to get the repairs for life. Basically, we want to service your entire fleet. So if you bought your fleet from somewhere else, let us service it. We'll give you repairs for life. We're going to save you thousands.
Love it. Only at Sunset Ford and Sunset Chevrolet in Sumner. You just get more at Sunset, and people do like that.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Gee and Ursula on KIRO Newsradio.
You're not going to be able to stop what's going to happen.
I hope he's successful.
9 to noon, streaming live on your smart speaker.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Minnesota, Vance Belter has been sentenced to 2 life terms plus 40 years in prison for killing Democratic state lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband last year at their home. He also targeted other lawmakers that same day. ABC's Peter Haralambou says Belter pleaded guilty last month, taking the death penalty off the table.
He admitted to carrying out what prosecutors called a night of terror that shook Minnesota to its core when he disguised himself as a member of law enforcement, assassinated a top Democrat in the Minnesota House and her husband, and severely injured a state senator and his wife.
The U.S. has carried out nearly 2 weeks of airstrikes against Iran, and Iran is widening the conflict in the region. Maritime traffic stalled or blocked in the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran-backed Houthi rebels targeting ships in the Red Sea. In West Virginia, officials say 2 people are unaccounted for following severe flooding this week. Rescues continue in that area. This is ABC News. Jeffrey Epstein's former banker James Staley testifying before the House Oversight Committee today. Here's ABC's Peter Haralambou.
Before he became the CEO of the multinational bank Barclays, he was an executive at J.P. Morgan who included Epstein among his clients. Now, that bank got sued after Epstein's death for allegedly ignoring red flags about sex trafficking. The bank itself admitted no wrongdoing, but settled that case for $290 million. There are also questions about his personal relationship with Epstein. The fact that he had a relationship with one of Epstein's assistants, that around 2010 he visited Epstein's island.
In Pennsylvania, an unexpected and unconventional birth.
What's it feel like when you deliver a baby? And are there any surprises?
I would say how slippery the baby was.
Yeah.
A lot of fluids on it. Wasn't expecting that with the rubber gloves.
Berlin Borough, Pennsylvania police officer Dominic Hudson, who helped Taylor Durham give birth in the parking lot of a Wawa convenience store.
ABC's Sherry Preston, Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Can't access your email? You're not the only one. A Microsoft outage is to blame. But first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. 15 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle, about 35 from Puyallup to Renton. It's about 35 right now from Renton to Bellevue, and much better now, Everett to Seattle, about 35 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO Newsradio app, Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. A widespread Microsoft outage disrupting service for thousands of users this morning. The outage affects Outlook, Teams, Xbox, and other Microsoft 365 services. Microsoft says it's investigating the problem, but hasn't said yet what caused the outage or when all services will be fully restored. Washington has mobilized state firefighting resources to battle the growing railroad fire that's over in Grant County. The wildfire there sparked late last night near Beverly and Shohana. The fire has already burned an estimated 750 acres. It's threatening homes, crops, and Grant County PUD facilities. According to KIRO 7 TV, at least 3 homes have already been lost. Level 1 and Level 3 evacuations are in effect. 3 women recovering after a targeted overnight shooting in North Seattle that left one of them with multiple gunshot wounds. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports a gunman fired more than 20 shots at the truck they were getting into.
Seattle police rushed to the scene after reports of multiple gunshots at Aurora and North 96th Street just after midnight. They say the 3 women had gone to UW Medical Center, one shot several times, the other 2 injured by shattered glass. It happened just hours after City Council member Deborah Juarez announced a proposed law to let police close violent streets there and plans to hire a prosecutor dedicated to Aurora violence.
To be cross-deputized to look at misdemeanors and felonies and sex trafficking.
Police say a single suspect fled south on Aurora. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
The Clark County Sheriff's Office is reviewing alleged misuse of body-worn camera mute functions in the death investigation of motorist Mark Fogel. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
54-year-old Mark Fogel was in the custody of the Clark County Sheriff's Office and in an interview room for a DUI investigation in May of last year. The deputy reported being in an active struggle with Fogel, who was allegedly trying to take his firearm. Attorneys for the Fogel family say deputies repeatedly muted their audio at critical moments after Fogel was fatally stabbed 17 times. Attorney Mark Lindquist represents the family.
Watching the video is almost comical. Every time something critical is about to be said, they hit the mute button.
Lindquist says he asked for the review in anticipation of a lawsuit. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says it's reviewing the issue and is committed to openness, transparency, and maintaining public trust. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A dramatic rescue in Pierce County as 7 dogs were pulled from a sweltering van during Tuesday's extreme heat. Several Good Samaritans had already managed to remove 6 of the dogs from the van.
Thank God you guys broke them out.
Deputies say the animals, including 4 puppies, were trapped inside the van sitting in direct sunlight while temperatures soared to 97 degrees. Animal Control removed the last dog, and now all 7 are recovering after being evaluated by the Humane Society. And now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Cooler temperatures today. Highs will be close to 80, but warmer weather is on the way again tomorrow. Right now, it's about 67 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Grateful that you're hanging out with us. We love it when you do. Good morning to you, Ursula.
Good morning. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I keep telling you, we can't do the show without you. We're now in our 3rd hour on this Thursday morning. Sure appreciate you hanging out with us. Coming up at 11:30, we agree to disagree, and there is an article in the Wall Street Journal that says, don't kill corporate retreats. Make them more like a kid's birthday party. Okay, that'll be an interesting agree to disagree. Okay, we'll have a lot more on the show for you, so stick with us, and here we go. And I'm trying to stall because I didn't have something ready for you.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
I just keep it so transparent. Okay, so one of our top stories is the cost of taking care of someone you love, because we're seeing now that being a caregiver can be extremely expensive. Barron's reports that nearly 3 in 10 American adults are unpaid caregivers, whether you're helping a child, helping a spouse, a parent, or a loved one with everything from their meals and transportation to medication and personal care. But that work comes with a very steep financial price, and I would say emotional and physical price as well often. More than a third of caregivers have less than $10,000 saved or invested, and nearly 7 in 10 say that debt is a big problem. And among caregivers who are still working, 1 in 5 has taken on new debt. Nearly as many have reduced their retirement contributions. And for those earning less than $35,000 a year, 75% are not confident that they're going to have enough money to retire comfortably. And yet they have these very, very important jobs.
I thought, and when we were getting ready to discuss this, I thought that this was going to be a very heavy topic, because I'm sure, assuming that there's someone listening right now who knows exactly what this is about. And we're talking about unpaid caregivers. So whether you are a someone who cut your hours or maybe quit your job because you needed to take care of maybe one of your parents or a significant other. And when I was thinking about this, Ursula, I was thinking about my mama, Scott. And I was thinking about our summers, and you hear me talking about my cousins all the time. And I just was thinking about that even during the break. My mama, Scott, till she died, that's exactly what she did. She was the caregiver for a whole bunch of grandkids. There was it was a 1-bedroom apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And remember, my grandmother had 9 kids. And so we're talking about grandkids. I mean, at any time, it would be 10, 12 of us easily there. And I'm bringing that up to just say that the government really kind of relies on those unpaid caregiving. Mm-hmm. They rely and so what happens is you have someone like that husband or that wife that decides to get ready to take care of their loved one. And so they cut back on work and they themselves sacrifice their earnings in retirement. And so there's no help or relief for them. It's like, oh, hey, so you're out of the workforce. You're not adding to your 401k during that time. Sorry of what you had to do. But this family, they made the decision like, hey, we're not going to put this burden on the government and or the state and everything. So we're going to do for our family because that's just what you do. And I think this topic, Ursula, is something that I'm glad we're talking about, because there's definitely something that needs to be done for the people and or families.
Well, and I think I agree with you. And a couple of sweeping statements. In this country, we have a horrible healthcare system. And yes, there are other countries that have even worse ones. But I'm just talking about in the United States of America, we don't do well by our people who get very sick. We also don't do well by people who get old and have the things that go along with getting old. And we are relying too much on others who are willing to do the work for nothing. Mm-hmm. And, that can go a whole different, a bunch of different directions when we discuss that, because we've talked about how much you rely on immigrants who come to this country and are willing to do that work. And if you were to eliminate all those people who are doing that work, because of some of the immigration laws that we're dealing with right now, we would have an even bigger deficit when it comes to people who are willing to do this kind of work. They are completely underpaid, first of all. Mm-hmm. But there's another thing that doesn't get talked about, and that is when families, and there's always that one in the family who takes on, and I'll just call it the burden of caregiving, when the parents can no longer care for themselves. Mm-hmm. And because it can cost like $15,000 a month and most people don't want to be in those homes. So, the best case scenario would be let your loved one age in place at home, right?
Right.
But 24-hour caregiving or even 12-hour caregiving, that is cost prohibitive. it's hard to find good help. And I know people who are listening right now who are going to agree to that if you don't do it yourself, you don't have a whole lot of options.
Right.
So the point I'm trying to make is within families, you have to have that conversation too and recognize the person who is the caregiver, who is the main caregiver, who is giving up their career, who is basically putting their life on hold or on pause. There needs to be something like a family agreement that somehow, and yes, you know, you do it from the goodness of your heart, but you're doing it at a price. And I think other family members need to be in agreement that that person needs to be compensated in some kind of way. And that's a hard thing to say.
It is. And this topic that we're talking about, unpaid caregiving, just so you want to talk about things that could potentially get worse, it's going to get worse. And why is that? We have Medicaid cuts coming, right? We all know about those Medicaid cuts, and we all know why those Medicaid cuts have happened. And unfortunately, we will see more and more people, families. And usually, again, in this article, they talk about who usually does this burden really impact. The families in this country, usually lower income, right? So whether it is caregiving for health reasons or it is child care for those reasons. And I would say that there are some families that would have never made it without the watching of your children in the neighborhood. I mean, there used to be folks in the neighborhood used to watch your kids, and not that they were professionally licensed, but it was what you could do. So the one that's retired in the neighborhood would actually watch 2 and 3 kids in the neighborhood. So again, unpaid caregiving is a real thing. So the question is, and this is before we move on from this topic, here's the question. Should we, as a society, collectively, taxpayer money, should we address this? Or is this personal responsibility? Is this something that families, hey, you need to save better, you need to do better, you need to make more money? Is this something we should address? Or should we just leave this alone like a lot of times some people want to do? They want to attach personal responsibility to this topic.
I absolutely think it needs to be addressed. Stephanie from Port Ludlow just texted in and said, my mom has been in memory care for 5 years. We pay more than $12,000 a month, and she has a roommate. The caretakers are so underpaid.
Okay. Well, I know we talk about livable wages all the time. Let's talk about the caregivers at these facilities. Let's talk about the CNAs. Should they get paid what they're getting paid? Because some of them are just barely making over minimum wage when it's happening. Because sometimes people say, gee, these are the certain positions that need to get paid. You need to have a skill. So you guys tell me that a skill you need to get paid. Is it a skill to care for someone's loved ones inside of these adult care facilities?
If you want to know a real eye-popping fact here, just last week, the Supreme Court of Washington ruled that live-in caregivers in adult family homes have to be paid minimum wage. Because under the law, there was a specific carve-out that said, no. If you're living in the home, you don't have to be paid minimum wage, because just because you're there all the time doesn't mean you're working all the time. That was the logic. I'd ask people to, ask their local firefighter about whether or not that's fair. But the Supreme Court said, no, that's unconstitutional, because what was actually happening is people working in these homes would start work at about 5 or 6 in the morning, and they might get done at about, 10 or 11 at night. And they were making the equivalent of $6 or $7 an hour.
Wow.
To take care of our loved ones.
No.
And if you've had a family member in this position, how painful it is to rely on someone who is being financially exploited to care for your loved one, also knowing that you don't have the financial ability to help them out.
Yes. Carrie and Bonnie Lake, who is a regular texter and regular listener, she says, waving from the caregiver section, and she takes full-time care of her son. She says, I am so grateful to have had such amazing family and friends and even community support. Also, no matter what else happens, financially, retirement is off the table. Imagine that. Like knowing that you're never going to be able to stop working.
Yeah, that would be. Speaking of Carrie and Bonnie Lake, her son Quinn is a listener to the show, so I want to say hello to.
He's number one fan.
I want to say hello
Hi,
to Quinn. Quinn, I hope this message finds you well. Thank you so much for listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. Yeah, it's amazing to me how many topics kind of run concurrent with other things. And I think sometimes this is why I think my frustrations come out often when there's picking and choosing on when. So this is why, like, all of this connects. Livable wages, food, adult care, unpaid caregiving. They all run together. So all these different opinions about all of those things as well. You need to have personal responsibility and, you need to make more money. This is what I'm saying. And so this topic right here is a heart-wrenching one because I think we all can connect and think about a loved one where, man, you know what? My grandmother or my father or my sister or my brother has had to have care for them. Mm-hmm. So we can all relate to that. And matter of fact, we're even all on the same page that caregivers should get paid more money. We're even on that same page, right? Like nobody is going to say right now, okay, well, gee, I understand you want caregivers to make more money, but how much more money are you thinking? Well, we already know that it's gross what caregivers get paid.
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
gross.
Atrocious.
So it all connects.
Yeah, Dave in the 253 says most caregivers work 2 to 3 jobs a week. I did hear about that with some of the folks who were helping with my dad when he was in long-term care. They're clocking in 80 hours a week to make ends meet. Fatigue is a very big problem, and imagine that trying to.
It's dangerous.
Yes, it is.
How about this 360 text? I've been a CNA for 26 years here in Thurston County. I'm 60 years old, and I just filed bankruptcy yesterday. We're definitely overworked and underpaid.
Gee, the next stage of that conversation is whether people are okay with the government paying family members to take care of family members, because that's what happens. In some circumstances, that's allowed.
Well, listen to this one. Another one. Paul on Alki. I am the director of nursing at an assisted living community in Seattle. We're very fortunate to have amazing staff doing really hard work, taking care of wonderful people. And I also know I will never be able to afford that level of care when I need it. You will be shocked when you see how much you are charged to have a loved one in one of these facilities. And then you're like, well, wait a minute, but why are they underpaying these people so much as well?
Yeah. This is when we have conversations and we talk about this stuff. This is why when we are talking about food benefits and we're talking about wages and when those arguments come up with food, is like, well, we got people that are taking advantage of the system. And then I know that if we had and try to pay family members that are cutting their jobs, cutting their hours to take care of loved ones, the same arguments that people have for food benefits, people would have used that same arguments. Well, yeah, but what about the fraud that is happening? What about the families that really aren't doing anything? They stubbed their toe in their home. I'm bringing this up because, and maybe I shouldn't be so frustrated and emotional, but I'm having a real hard time with topics this year in 2026 where we just forget about the people in this country who don't have. And people, I just don't get that. And so sometimes I see why it's easy for people to just give up talking about those things, because sometimes it feels like it's easier to just go with the flow in the crowd of, well, you know what? Personal responsibility. It's just hard to see this. And so I'm glad we brought up this unpaid caregiving, because I believe that this topic right here actually makes people give pause to be like, wow, we do need to do more.
Would it help to hear impact? Because, like, I can tell you, when we're talking about, hey, unpaid care, anyone who has a disabled family member, my younger brother was disabled, right? And state respite care. That's when, the state pays a caregiver to come in and for a couple hours a week or so take care of a disabled family member, relieving some pressure off of the primary caregiver. Because a lot of those primary caregivers are doing it 24/7, for that child's entire life. And without respite care for my family would not exist as it is today. I can tell you from personal experience, like, families break apart because of the stress of caregiving.
They sure do. That is absolutely correct. And again, I want to also emphasize for those of you who are not relying on assisted living or nursing homes and are having to try to juggle this on your own, and you are the one that gets the bulk of the caregiving within your family, I just want to know, I see you, hear you, and people need to appreciate you much more because they don't realize how heavy that is too.
Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, it's time to agree to disagree. Gee and Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, you're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps. Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year, more than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event going on right now through Sunday, August 2nd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
If there's one thing you can count on, it's 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto insurance with Progressive. And if there's 2 things you can count on, it's your smoke detector battery dying at 3 a.m. Not 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you have nothing going on, but in the middle of the night when you're fast asleep.
Oh, come on!
Get 24/7 protection when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Just one more thing you can count on. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone! AutoZone!
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone! AutoZone!
Your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts for 34 years. Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest-running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. President Trump, in a social media post, says the nuclear deal his administration announced with Saudi Arabia just yesterday is contingent on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords and normalizing relations with Israel. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
Saudi Arabia has been reticent to join this arrangement, in part because it is insistent that there be a Palestinian state. The president this morning made this statement, and his press secretary at the briefing said that it is the final word on this, that the president is ultimately the deal maker in this, and that the deal is contingent on this condition the president announced this morning as far as Trump is concerned, and that if they don't agree to it, Caroline Levitt says the deal is off.
A tow truck driver who allegedly decided to relieve himself along I-5 in North Portland 2 years ago is being sued for $3.2 million along with his employer.
3 motorcyclists crashed into the vehicle the driver was supposed to tow. One of them tells OregonLive.com that vehicle rolled backwards into traffic because the tow truck driver put it in neutral, then stepped away to answer nature's call. The co-owner of the towing service says he thinks the vehicle was already in neutral when the tow truck driver got there, and that he hadn't heard anything about his driver urinating and doesn't think anybody would do that along such a busy freeway. According to Oregon Live, the suit seeks damages for injuries suffered by one of the motorcyclists, which he says have hindered his ability to work. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
The Corning morning commute for drivers heading to JBLM is almost over. A semi-truck crashed into a ditch on southbound I-5 exit to Thorn Lane, spilling corn across the roadway. Here's Trooper Cameron Watts.
The driver did admit that he fell asleep at the wheel, and that's why
he ultimately lost control of the semi-truck.
Cleanup should be done within 2 hours. The search continues for Brita, a 350-pound pig missing from her home on Vashon Island. Owner Julia Carson tells the Jake and Spike show on KIRO News Radio whoever took Brita most likely knew her.
It was either somebody who knew her well enough to be like, come on, Brita, come on, I have treats for you. Or it was a crew of a bunch of big dudes.
Carlson says there have been several unconfirmed sightings of Brita. The King County Sheriff's Office says the investigation involves an ongoing dispute between Carlson and a neighbor. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic at this hour. Everett to Seattle, about a half an hour. Everett to Bellevue, about 25 minutes right now. Linwood to Seattle, also 20 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. And for your forecast on this Thursday morning, we're staying pretty cool today. Highs will be near the 80s. Right now, it's about 67 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. It is time for us to agree to disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
Boy, it's one of America's biggest bugaboos, and it could be going away, at least in a form that you know it. So we're talking about TSA. 3 major airports, they're moving to replace the TSA agents with private security screeners. The idea is shorter liners, newer tech, and hey, when the government shutdowns, private contractors will still get paid. The airport can operate. So this is happening in Tampa, Des Moines, and Charleston Airport. They're going to happen next year. There's 20 small airports who use private screeners right now, including San Francisco.
That's not a small airport.
Well, I suppose, relatively speaking. So the TSA would still set the rules and they would oversee the security, but you'd have private folks doing the screening. Gee, your thoughts?
No.
No?
No. No, I want this to continue the way that it is. I don't want different things happening in different states. I know that I know it starts out with, oh, don't worry, we're going to be overseeing it. No, it's a trap. You won't be able to get that toothpaste back into the tube. I want you to keep things the way they are. I do not want any part of any privatization of these things. No.
So I was initially going to answer the way G did, but I started trying to look into it a little bit. And you talked about those 20 U.S. airports that have moved toward that, including San Francisco. And they're saying that the satisfaction ratings have actually gone up. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is because when you do have these government shutdowns, it's not going to mess up. Do you remember how many people were missing funerals and missing graduations and things like that because of something that was so unreliable when it came to
the federal government being able to do its job?
Yes. And the other part of it is if you have private companies using market-based incentives, let's say. So
market-based
to cut the red tape.
For safety?
Yeah. No. And that's where if there's any proof in any of these 20 airports that have gone that way, that it actually hampers safety, then no, I wouldn't be for it. But I would want to know, I would want to see more evidence of what happens when you do privatize. And, I'm a strong opponent of privatized prisons. I mean, I've talked about that.
Sure.
Privatizing isn't always the best answer. But in this case, could it be better?
I would love to see some innovation come to the process. If you've ever been stuck in a TSA line where there's 20 agents standing around it, yelling at people, take off your shoes, and not one of those people is like helping move the baskets that you need to put your shoes in, and you're wondering, why are there 20 people standing here doing nothing? I mean, I'd love a little innovation in that regard, but I really question the motive, because what's the incentive of a private company? It's to provide value to the owners or shareholders if it's a public company. And I don't see how that squares with providing the best safety. But at the same time, do we have an effective system? I don't know. Look at how many guns get through as it is. You know, there was a state senator who made it all the way to, Hong Kong with a gun? So how effective is...
Yeah, those are pretty rare. I mean, come on now. You don't really sneak a gun in too much. I mean, we can go there. I mean, I would argue that TSA security has been better than the security surrounding Donald Trump these days. So TSA does not do they do pretty good on a daily basis.
All right. Good deal. Well, let's move on here. I want to talk about the gym and what that space could look like, because there's a small but growing group of especially Christian men who believe that gyms should be for men, and they're opening men-only gyms because they believe that in order to work out, they don't want to be distracted by the skimpy attire of the women who classically attend gyms. So there's one that's in operation in Oklahoma City. There's another one that's opening in Denver here shortly. And they believe that it's difficult for men to remain faithful in their hearts and minds if they're
Is that the main reason?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not going to make fun of it. But, I mean, what do you think about gender-separated workout spaces, G?
I'm sure Mike Pence would love this, right? Because didn't Mike Pence say he didn't
want to have private meetings with women?
Right. So, so I think it's garbage, is what I really do think it is. I'm not going to probably demonize it, but I think it is garbage to say we can't work out and we need an all men's gym because we want to protect ourselves from controlling ourselves and being a decent human being. Mm-hmm. It also reminds me of, I don't know, maybe you guys have heard these topics before, when when a woman gets sexually assaulted, and then you might hear someone say, well, what was she wearing? Mm-hmm. I mean, she was wearing that. I mean, I could, There is no justification. It doesn't matter if they're walking around naked. You shouldn't sexually assault a woman. That's number one. And number two, if you can't control yourself, this is a real problem with anyone walking around. It doesn't matter. It would be like, hey, imagine me saying this. I'm heating up right now. Imagine saying, hey, I don't want there to be a daycare at the gym when people have their kids being watched while they work out, because I don't want to, be thinking about saying something wrong to a child.
Yeah, you got me when you mentioned the reasons why, because I could understand, for example, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but do you remember when Curves was a thing, or the women-only gyms? I understand why women would, and I did join a women's only gym at some point in time. Didn't last long, but I could see where I felt more comfortable. I don't want to have to worry about what I look like, or someone judging me, or some dude, or anyone. But I would be a hypocrite to say that I don't understand why women would want a women-only gym, because I was one of those.
Yeah.
So what is the real reason? I mean, are there other reasons besides men can't controlling themselves? Are there any other reasons why men would want to?
So first of all, it's not necessarily like I'm going to rape somebody if I see someone in skimpy clothes. It is, hey, I don't want to have lustful thoughts.
Okay. I just want to ask this real quick. Don't do any research. Just a serious question. Do you guys think this men's gym is the same as what Curves was? I
don't know.
I would tell you guys no.
Yeah.
The reason why there was a Curves, and the reason why I'm understanding for a women's gym, is because they can go there, they can work out in peace.
Not be bothered.
You want to know what we don't have a problem with? We don't have a problem with women going around the gym like, hey, excuse me, baby. I see you on that treadmill. I see you lifting that. Let me show you how to really lift it. Oh, excuse over to the side. They don't have that problem.
Yes, agree.
So the reason for opening up this men's gym is not the same. So everybody texting in talking about, well, what about the women's gym? It's not the same. It's not the same.
I have no problem with it. I mean, I don't think their motives are great, but I recognize that there are also some men who have senses of public modesty that are different than mine. And if they want to have a space, fine. That's fine.
If you don't like it, don't go there.
I don't think is anyone going to feel left out if they're not allowed to join?
I mean, do we really want to pull out the research on men and women and who's doing some of that? Didn't we just do the man and bear?
No, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you on that one.
No, I'm just continue to go on with this topic. Like, wow, I can't believe that was the real reason, Chef. Like,
I know.
Like,
that one got me.
I'm still tripping on that. Like, could you? I don't even know.
I have no words. My mouth is just moving up and down.
Just so we're clear, I've never even seen it in a plot in a movie or known of anyone to say, hey, G, I can't be going to the gym. It's just too much. Like,
too many women hitting on me?
Yeah, I
don't know. We
definitely never heard that one either. Hey, coming up next, text messages, feedback, and then we'll have Words to Live by Gee Ursula.
Progressive provides protection for your boat and other outdoor vehicles so you can explore new things.
Oh, I can finally try pesto.
We meant like water skiing.
I've just never had pesto.
Or maybe take the boat somewhere new.
I mean, is pesto spicy or sweet? Oh, guess we'll find out, right?
Right. Bundle home or auto insurance with your boat, RV, or motorcycle and stay protected with Progressive while you explore.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not ready for pesto.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer is for going big.
Julio! Dead center field, solo home run, 4-0 Mariners.
Summer is for showing out.
Crawford, out of the glove, Emerson to first. What a play!
Summer is for Mariners baseball.
Cal Raleigh with an RBI double. The big thumper comes through in the clutch.
Where else do you get 9 innings of eye-popping swings and snags? Plus fireworks that make your feet dance and your jaw drop. Oh yeah, and the guys have a dance of their own, a wind dance.
Party time at T-Mobile Park in the sunshine.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
On July 31st, the Mariners kick off a 9-game homestand at T-Mobile Park. And the fun gets started with 50 Seasons Fireworks Night presented by T-Mobile on Friday the 31st. Plus, don't miss epic giveaways like Aloha shirts on Saturday, August 1st, thanks to Fred Meyer. Get tickets and check out everything on deck at mariners.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
How would you like to invest in the Seattle real estate market, one of the hottest and most stable regions in the country, and achieve a great rate of return on your investment without the effort of sourcing a deal, the expense and time of building permits, or all the hassles that come with being a landlord? Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Invest in the stability and ease of Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund. Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. And Bob, just like me, you had a hip problem. You were recommended surgery. Why did you go see Dr. Wagner first?
I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff.
So you had stem cell on your hip. How does it feel now?
I can do a lot of things I could not do prior to this procedure, and I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now. And I've had friends that have gone to see Dr. Wagner. They had the same experience, whether they were dealing with a hip, a knee, an elbow, a shoulder. Everybody walking out of there feels like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Before you choose surgery, do what Bob and I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Welcome back in to the Gee and Ursula Show. It is now time to read through some of your text messages, and then we'll have words to live by. Ursula?
One topic that really got a lot of you texting us was the topic of caregiving and how so many caregivers are grossly underpaid or not even recognized. Ariana in Port Orchard, I want to read just a little excerpt of what she wrote. I am a stay-at-home mom of 2 autistic children. I chose to stay home, limiting our budget because of the demands of their therapies. I haven't had a day off in close to 10 years because of the cost of hiring a caregiver, extreme limits on respite care, and the lack of people providing respite care anymore. My husband is a service member, which limits us even further because of what our insurance will cover. And we also just found out that my grandmother is dealing with dementia. So far, our extended family has been able to balance all the caregiving within our family, but we are tired. It is a full-time, unpaid job for primary caregivers, and the options for getting paid are challenging, time-consuming, and frustrating.
Well, Sandy in Olympia says, I was my late mom's caregiver for the final 5 years of her life. She had dementia. I was only able to do it because I was already retired and had good family support system. My daughter was close by for moral support.
Melinda in Spanaway says, I am a full-time caregiver for my mom who has dementia. It's not easy. Physically, I'm capable, but mentally, it is draining. We don't qualify for any type of assistance. I'm just trying to do my best.
I wonder if that could be some bipartisan that the state of Washington can get on to really start addressing this. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
That'd be, yeah. Nikki says, no one is getting compensated. We are just trying to be there for her completely before she passes. It's rough, so when I can, but I can't physically take care of her 24/7. That isn't even an option. Trying to get Medicare to provide help is sadly a joke.
Yeah, when you're trying to get Medicare or Medicaid especially, Lord, that is, you got to go through a lot of hoops. Anonymous texter in the 206 says, CNAs are not nurses, so their pay is based on their education and level of responsibility, but assisted living facilities and nursing homes are making money without paying these workers according to the work they do and the compassion they provide. Sensitivity and compassion need to be compensated, even though they aren't based on a degree.
So I just want to, is this true? Like CNAs, their pay is based on their level of responsibility?
Yes. And
that pay is based on the level, or, I mean, like, just think about the
responsibility. Yeah.
Just think about what the responsibility is.
Yeah, there's the responsibility with your loved one's life.
Yes. Yeah. Diane says, after 57 years, I believe adult family homes provide the best care as long as you visit and choose a good one. If you know a nurse, ask for their advice.
The thing is, what people find out really quickly is that what you qualify for may not be the one that you've toured and you think, okay, this would be a great match. There's often wait lists. The prices are cost prohibitive. There might be something in your loved one's situation, whether it's mental or physical. I mean, we're dealing with this right now with a friend. It's very hard to find appropriate care that is also affordable. I just feel for all of you who have texted in. There's so much more we could share here because so many of you texted in, and my heart goes out to all of you.
You want to go through some more text messages?
Yes.
Oh, the number of Amazon and gig workers on public assistance is skyrocketing. Melissa in Hobart says the problem is that companies are beholden to the stock market and whether their stock rises or falls. One way to drive the stock price higher is to increase profits, and one way to increase profits is to cut wages. Since labor is supposedly one of the biggest expenses, if companies weren't under constant pressure to produce significant year-over-year profit growth for the stock market, things might be better.
On Ask Ursula, I received a wedding announcement from a friend's daughter. My wife says no gift is required because we didn't get invited to the wedding. 360 says you have to live with a spouse, not the newlyweds. Do what your spouse says.
That's actually a pretty good one. All right, Ursula, it's now time for your words to live by.
I love this quote from Dana Reeve, who was the widow of Christopher Reeve. Remember Superman? She says, be brave, be open-minded, be kind, be forgiving, be generous, be optimistic, be grateful for the many unexpected lessons you will learn. Find that joy inside the hardship. It is there, I assure you. And be open to inspiration from unlikely sources.
Good stuff. Nick, what do you got, man?
Well, recently around here, there's a hype that seemed to grow in a form that's more abnormal than the raccoons that you know. And even if you think Jimothy's fun to be around, listen to our friend Suzanne, who said he's still wild if found.
Wow.
And if I were to guess where Jimothy today was found, it would most likely be near the truck that spilled corn on the ground. I don't know if raccoons like corn or not, but seeing him near the trash cans a lot, I'm sure he's not too picky, and he had a smile from ear to ear.
Now, Nick, you were working this morning with Seattle's Morning News.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that you've had enough of the corn talk. I guess you didn't have enough of it?
No, I loved all those corny little jokes that they had this morning. No pun intended.
Well, was there any good ones that you heard?
Some about maize, corn. I mean, there was just so many. I feel like it just flew right by me.
I forgot that Dana Reeves, she had passed away.
Yeah, she had.
It was 20 years ago.
I know.
Yeah.
That whole story and that whole family and the amount of tragedy they faced, and yet if you see their kids, they're incredible.
They were incredible people. All right, thanks, Ursula. Appreciate it. Chef, thank you. Nick, thank you, man. Hey, the Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. We appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
I tipped the chauffeur when it was over and I gave her my own ride. Didn't get her off my jock, stay with I likes that and cling. But that's what happens when bodies start slapping from doing a wild thing.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
State Senator Jamie Peterson drafted one of the state's most progressive taxes to date, the income tax on millionaires.
Engaging conversation.
We pay teachers the fourth highest of any state in the country.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
The Seahawks! They're bringing it home again!
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
Hi, I'm Marla at Sky Nursery with a heads up that gardening in July has its challenges. Seattle summer drought can cause plants to droop in just a matter of hours, and rabbits and aphids can get a little out of hand in your garden, especially if you have any travel plans this summer. That's where an experienced Sky gardener can make a difference with down-to-earth and sustainable solutions to all manner of gardening quagmires. After all, you deserve to enjoy a beautiful, thriving summer garden without having to learn the hard way first. We can help. Head to skynursery.com.
What would you do if the person you love needed round-the-clock care and you had no plan to pay for it?
I was very worried about running out of money.
When Mike's wife was diagnosed with dementia, he turned to LifePoint Law and elder law attorney Rajiv Nagayich.
And then he said, "You're going to be okay, but we have to get through these steps." Then I felt a whole lot better going into it. It was still a very difficult process, but in the end, I knew that there was someone there that if I needed help, understood what I'm going through.
LifePoint Law helped Mike protect his wife, his finances, and his future.
They laid it out really well up front. They give you a very in-depth plan. There are so many things that you don't know. I could never have done it on my own.
Register for a free LifePoint Law retirement planning seminar in Federal Way August 1st, Puyallup on the 4th, Tacoma on the 6th, or Bellevue August 8th. Space is limited, so sign up today at LifePointLaw.com. That's LifePointLaw.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Did you know that 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state? I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide financial support for breast and gynecologic cancer patients in our community. Join us at Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon of inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250